November 2030, 4.5 years after the crash began. The acute crisis is over. Markets stopped falling. Unemployment peaked and started declining slowly. GDP turned positive again. By technical definitions, the recovery started 18 months ago. Life is returning to normal, except normal has changed. The normal of 2030 bears little resemblance to 2025. Not temporarily, permanently. The crisis didn't pause life, it reset it. The assumptions, expectations, and daily realities that defined existence before the crash have been replaced by something different. This isn't the recovery normal. This is the new normal, the equilibrium state that emerges after extraordinary stress. And understanding this new normal is critical because it's not transitional. It's not getting back to normal. This is what normal looks like now. This is what it will look like for decades. The new normal isn't defined by crisis or collapse. Those are over. It's defined by adjustment, by reduced circumstances accepted as permanent, by changed expectations internalized, by the quiet reorganization of life around constraints that didn't exist before. Let me show you exactly what the new normal looks like in 2030. The daily routines, the financial realities, the social adjustments, the psychological accommodations, and why this new normal, while stable and manageable, represents a permanent downgrade from the world that existed before the crash. The day begins at 5:45 a.m., not by choice, by necessity. The alarm on a phone from 2023 that still works but shows its age. Replacement isn't an option. A new phone costs $1,100 and budgets don't have room for non-essentials. The old phone will work until it doesn't. The morning routine has been streamlined for efficiency. Shower time reduced from 15 minutes to 7. Not to save water primarily, to save time. Multiple jobs require maximizing every minute. The leisurely morning coffee while reading news is gone. Coffee is instant, consumed while preparing lunch. Breakfast is basic on oatmeal with generic brand toppings. The name brand cereals and fresh fruit are too expensive. Meal costs have been optimized down to $2.80 per person per breakfast. This allows $8.40 daily food budget per person. $250 monthly for a family of 3. This represents 11% of household income. The kitchen shows age. Appliances from 2018-2022 that should have been replaced, but haven't. The refrigerator is noisy. The microwave's turntable sticks. The dishwasher requires double cycles, but repair costs $300, $600, replacement costs $800, $2,000. Unless something fails completely, it stays. The house itself is maintained minimally. Paint is chipping, but repainting costs $4,000. The fence leans, but repair costs $200. The HVAC system is 18 years old and inefficient, but replacement costs $12,000. A running list of deferred maintenance grows longer. Items get addressed only when they fail catastrophically. The adults prepare for work. One leaves for a 7 a.m. shift at a distribution center. The other leaves at 8:15 for an office administrative job. Both work full-time. Combined income is $67,000 annually. This is middle class by 2030 standards. It was lower middle class in 2025 terms. The teenage child takes the bus to public school. The bus that used to arrive at 7:15 now arrives at 7:45 due to route consolidation. School starts at 8:30. The 30-minute buffer that allowed breakfast at school is gone. The morning timing is tight and stressful. The family owns 2 cars. A 2019 sedan with 147,000 miles and a 2021 compact with 92,000 miles. Both are aging. Both need maintenance that's being deferred. The newer car needs brake work costing $850. It can wait another month, maybe 2 until it can't. 1 car is financed. The loan balance is $9,200 with 32 months remaining. Payment is $310 monthly. The car is worth perhaps $8,500. They're slightly underwater. Selling means coming up with $700 cash to clear the loan. Better to keep driving it. They're trapped by the loan. This morning routine is replicated across millions of households. Efficient Spartan. Stressed. Every expense optimized. Every minute scheduled. No buffer for error or leisure. This is how mornings work in the new normal. Not desperate, not crisis, just permanently constrained. Work in the new normal looks fundamentally different from 2025. The secure full-time employment with benefits that characterized middle-class work is rare. The standard is now multiple income sources, minimal benefits, and constant hustle. The distribution center job is full-time but sparse on benefits. Hourly wage is $1,850. Health insurance is offered, but the employee contribution is $520 monthly for family coverage with a $8,500 deductible. The family can't afford this. They're uninsured. The job includes no retirement contribution. No pension, no 401k match. The concept of employer-provided retirement is extinct for most workers. Retirement planning is individual and largely unaffordable. Most people work until they physically can't. The work itself is physically demanding. Warehouse operations lifting. Walking 12 miles daily according to the fitness tracker. The worker is 42 years old. How many more years can this physically demanding work continue? Probably not to age 70, but that's when Social Security kicks in at reduced rates. The math doesn't work. Job security is minimal. The warehouse can reduce shifts or lay off workers with a week's notice. There's no union protection, no contract. just at-will employment that can end instantly. The worker lives with constant anxiety about job loss. One bad quarter for the company could mean unemployment. The office administrative job is also full-time. Salary is $39,000 annually. Benefits are better. Health insurance through this employer costs $280 monthly for family coverage with a $6,000 deductible. Expensive, but more affordable than the distribution center option. This determines which employer provides the insurance. This job includes a 401k, but no match. The employee contributes $50 per paycheck, $300 annually. This represents 3.3% of salary. Financial advisors recommend 15%. But 15% of $39,000 is $5,850 annually. The budget has no room for this. The inadequate 3.3% will have to suffice. Job security is better, but not guaranteed. The company has done 2 rounds of layoffs since the crash. Each time, the administrative staff was reduced. Survivors took on additional duties without additional pay. The next layoff could include this position. The threat is constant. Both adults also have side income. The distribution center worker does rideshare driving on weekends, approximately 12 hours weekly, gross income around $280. Net after gas and vehicle wear is perhaps $180. This adds $9,360 annually to household income. It's essential. It's also exhausting. The office worker does freelance bookkeeping for small businesses, 8 hours weekly, income of $25 hourly, $200 weekly, $2,400 annually. This side work happens during evenings and weekends. There's no separation between work time and personal time. Work is constant. Combined household income, $67,000 from main jobs, plus $19,160 from side work equals $86,160 gross. After taxes, approximately $68,000 net. This supports a family of 3. By 2030 standards, this is middle-class stability. By 2025 standards, this is precarity. The teenager also works part-time at a fast food restaurant, 15 hours weekly at $13.50 per hour, annual income of $10,530. This pays for their car insurance, phone, clothes, and personal expenses. In 2025, teenagers worked for spending money. In 2030, they work for necessities. The family's economic survival requires 3 adults working 4 jobs, totaling 105 plus hours weekly. In 2025, 1 full-time job could support a middle-class family. That world is gone. The new normal is multi-job household with every adult working constantly. This is stability now. Money, permanent scarcity. The household finances of 2030 operate under constraints that were temporary emergencies in 2025 but are now permanent features of middle-class life. Monthly net income for the household is $5,667. This includes the teenager's contribution. Without the teenager working, household income would be $4,192. The teenager working isn't about building character or responsibility. It's economic necessity. Housing costs are $2,180 monthly. This includes $1,650 mortgage payment on a house now worth less than the mortgage balance, $310 property tax, $145 homeowner's insurance, and $75 HOA fee. Housing consumes 38% of household income. Financial advisors recommend 28%. That's not achievable. The mortgage is from 2021, refinanced at 3.2% interest. If they had to get a mortgage today at current rates of 7.8%, the same house would cost $2,150 monthly. They're trapped in this house because moving means much higher housing costs. Geographic mobility is gone. Utilities average $380 monthly. Electricity, natural gas, water, trash, internet. The costs have risen faster than inflation. Electricity is up 60% from 2025. Natural gas up 45%, water up 40%. Conservation has reduced usage, but costs still increased. The $240 utilities of 2025 are $380s in 2030. Transportation costs are $890 monthly, car payment of $310. Insurance for 2 cars, $290. Gas, $210. Prices are up, consumption is down. Maintenance budget of $80. This budget is inadequate, but it's what's available. Deferred maintenance accumulates. Food budget is $75 monthly, $25 per day for family of 3. Breakfast is $8.40, lunch is $9.60, dinner is $7. This requires aggressive shopping strategies. Store brands only. No restaurants, no delivery, no prepared foods. The food diversity and quality of 2025 is memory. Healthcare costs $280 monthly for insurance premium. The $6,000 deductible hasn't been met this year. Out-of-pocket expenses for prescriptions and co-pays add $185 monthly. Total healthcare cost is $465 monthly, 8.2% of income. One serious illness would be financially devastating. There's no budget line for retirement savings beyond the $100 monthly 401k contribution. At this rate, retirement savings in 30 years will be perhaps $180,000 in 2030 after market returns. This provides $600 monthly income. Social Security might add $2,200 monthly. Combined $2,800 monthly. Housing costs alone are $2,180. The math doesn't work. No budget for college savings for the teenager. Community college for 2 years costs about $8,000 total, including books. This might be achievable through the teenager's work and modest loans. University is unaffordable. The 4-year degree path is closed economically. Entertainment and recreation budget is $120 monthly. This covers streaming services, $35, occasional movie rental, $15, and limited discretionary spending, $70. No cable TV, no concerts, no sporting events, no vacations. Entertainment is free or near free. Clothing budget is $90 monthly. Thrift stores and clearance racks. Clothes are worn until they fail. The fashion consumption of 2025 seems extravagant in hindsight. Clothes are functional, not expressive. Total monthly expenses, $555. Monthly income, $5,667 monthly surplus, $512. This is emergency fund contribution, vehicle maintenance catch-up, and buffer for unexpected expenses. This $512 is what stands between stability and crisis. One emergency destroys the balance. It's a $200 car repair, $2,500 medical bill, $800 appliance replacement. Any of these requires either depleting emergency savings or taking debt. The family lives one moderate emergency from financial distress. This financial reality is the new normal for middle-class families. Not poverty, not crisis, but permanent scarcity, every expense optimized, no waste. No luxury, no buffer. This is stability in 2030. It would have been considered hardship in 2025. The workday ends, but work continues. The distribution center shift ends at 4:01 p.m. Commute home takes 35 minutes, home by 4:45. The office job ends at 5 and home by 5:30. The teenager's school day ends at 3:15. Their shift starts at 4 and ends at 9 p.m. Dinner is home cooked by necessity. Restaurant meals cost $45.60 for the family. The budget allows this perhaps once every 6 weeks. The evening meal is prepared using staples. Rice, beans, chicken, vegetables, prepared in bulk. Leftovers for lunch. Dinner costs $7 per night, budgeted. The distribution center worker has rideshare driving scheduled Friday through Sunday. The office worker has bookkeeping work Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday evenings. There's no evening when both adults are home without work obligations. Family time is fragmented. Homework supervision for the teenager happens in scattered minutes. The parents are too exhausted and time constrained to provide meaningful educational support. The teenager's educational outcomes depend primarily on school, which is underfunded and overwhelmed. The parental engagement that benefited previous generations is impossible given work demands. Household maintenance happens in stolen moments. Laundry on Wednesday night, cleaning on Sunday morning. Yard work on Saturday afternoon between bookkeeping clients. The household tasks that were spread throughout the week in 2025 are compressed into minimal windows. There's no time for community engagement. No PTA meetings, no volunteering, no local politics. The civic participation that sustained communities is impossible when every hour is scheduled for survival activities. Social capital erodes from time poverty. Personal relationships suffer. The couple has perhaps 90 minutes together daily when both are home and awake. This time is often spent on household logistics, paying bills, planning schedules, addressing immediate problems. Intimacy and connection require energy and time that don't exist. Extended family connections attenuate. The parents see their own parents, perhaps once monthly. Phone calls are brief and functional. The generational connections that provided support and continuity are weakened by time constraints. Extended family becomes occasional rather than integral. Friendships fade. Social activities require time and money. Neither is available. Friends from before the crash have dispersed. Some moved for work, some fell out of contact as life became too busy. New friendships don't form because there's no time for social cultivation. Entertainment is passive and cheap. Streaming television, social media. These require no planning, no money, and can be consumed in fragmented time. The active entertainment of 2025, going out, hobbies, activities, requires resources that don't exist. Sleep is shortened. The alarm goes off at 5:45 a.m. Bedtime should be 9:45 p.m. for 8 hours. But there are always tasks remaining. Email to answer, bills to pay, life administration that didn't get done. Actual bedtime is typically 11 p.m. Sleep averages 6.5 hours. Chronic sleep deprivation is normal. The evening hours that were once for living are now for surviving. The time scarcity is as binding as financial scarcity. The new normal is constant activity without rest or genuine leisure. This is how evenings work in 2030 for middle-class families. Weekends in the new normal aren't rest, they're the second shift. The time for catch-up, side work, and accumulated tasks that couldn't happen during the week. Saturday morning starts at 7 a.m. with household projects. The fence repair that was deferred finally happens. Not professionally. A DIY project using YouTube tutorials and $180 in materials. The work takes 6 hours. The result is functional, but not professional. But it costs $1,050 less than hiring someone. The office worker has bookkeeping clients Saturday afternoon. 4 hours of work for $100 net income. This happens in the home office, which is the corner of the bedroom with a card table and laptop. The professional workspace of 2025 didn't survive the crash. The distribution center worker does rideshare Saturday evening and all day Sunday. 18 hours total over the weekend. Net income of $207 after expenses. This is essential income. It's also exhausting. Driving strangers for hours while making conversation and maintaining courtesy requires emotional labor. Sunday morning includes grocery shopping. This takes 2.5 hours. Not because the store is far, because shopping requires comparing prices across 3 different stores to minimize costs. Costco for bulk staples, grocery outlet for produce and meat. Dollar store for household items. Aggressive optimization saves $120 monthly. Worth the time investment. Meal preparation happens Sunday afternoon. Bulk cooking for the week. Chicken breast, rice, beans, and vegetables prepared in quantities for multiple meals. This saves money and time during the week. The Sunday afternoon cooking session is essential logistics. Sunday evening is the only time the full family is home together without immediate work obligations. Perhaps 3 hours. This is family time, watching something together. Conversation, connection. This 3-hour window is what passes for work-life balance in the new normal. There's no weekend getaway, no Sunday drive. No recreational activities that cost money or time. The weekend is for survival work, side jobs, and household maintenance. The rest and recreation that weekends provided historically are gone. Weekends are work, just different work. This pattern repeats every week. There's no vacation time. The distribution center job provides 1 week paid time off annually. The office job provides 2 weeks. But taking vacation means losing side income. It means falling behind on deferred maintenance. It means returning to a larger pile of tasks. Vacations largely don't happen. When time off occurs, it's for necessity, not recreation. Dental appointments, DMV visits. Home repairs requiring presence. The personal time off is consumed by life administration that can't happen during work hours. There's no true leisure time. The weekends that were once for rest, family, and recreation are now for economic survival. This is the new normal weekend. Not crisis, not poverty, just the permanent elimination of rest from middle-class life. Social relationships in the new normal exist, but have fundamentally changed in character and frequency. The social life of 2025 isn't sustainable, given time and financial constraints. Friendships are maintained digitally, text messages, social media video calls. These require no travel, no spending, and fit into fragmented time. The deep friendships of 2025 that involved regular in-person contact have become acquaintanceships maintained through technology. The couple sees friends, perhaps, once every 2 months. Meeting for coffee, not dinner. Coffee costs $8, dinner costs $60. The financial constraint is binding. But more binding is time. Finding 3 hours when both are available and not working is difficult. The social activities that were routine in 2025 are now occasional treats. Going to movies, attending concerts, sporting events. These cost $80, $200 and require evening or weekend time. They happen perhaps twice annually. Entertainment is home-based by necessity. Community involvement is minimal. The parent-teacher organization meetings that one parent regularly attended in 2025 are now impossible. The meetings are 7 p.m. on Tuesdays. That conflicts with bookkeeping work. The choice between income and community involvement is no choice. Religious participation has declined. The family attended services weekly in 2025. In 2030, perhaps twice monthly. Sunday morning rideshare driving is lucrative. The $130 earned Sunday morning exceeds the value of service attendance given financial pressure. Economic necessity trumps spiritual practice. Extended family gatherings are infrequent. The parents' siblings are scattered. Travel to see them costs $400, $600 between gas and time off work. Extended family holidays that were annual traditions are now every 2 or 3 years. The family networks that provided support have attenuated. The teenager's social life is constrained by work. Friends whose families have more resources do activities the teenager can't afford. Movies, concerts, trips. The teenager declines invitations frequently. The social exclusion from economic inequality is painful. Dating as a teenager is complicated by lack of money. Taking someone to dinner costs $35. Going to a movie costs $28. The teenager's income covers necessities with little remaining. Dating becomes cheap activities. Hiking, hanging out at home. This limits social development. The couple's romantic life is challenged by exhaustion and stress. Date nights require time and money. Neither is available. The emotional intimacy that sustains marriages requires time for connection. That time doesn't exist. The relationship persists, but has become primarily functional. The isolation is gradual and subtle. No single friendship ends dramatically. They just fade. No community is explicitly abandoned. Participation just becomes impossible. The social world shrinks slowly until looking back reveals how small it has become. This social contraction is repeated across millions of families. The community bonds that sustained previous generations are impossible to maintain under time and financial scarcity. Isolation becomes normal. The social texture of life thins. This is the new normal social experience. The psychological adaptation to the new normal is perhaps the most profound change. The internal life, expectations, identity, emotional baseline recalibrates to permanently reduced circumstances. The stress of 2026, 2027 was acute. Job losses, asset collapse. Fear that acute stress has resolved. But it's been replaced by chronic low-grade anxiety that never disappears. The constant worry about money, about jobs, about one emergency destroying stability. This chronic anxiety becomes the baseline emotional state. Not panic, not crisis. Just persistent tension. The relaxation that comes from security doesn't exist. There's always something to worry about. The mind never fully rests. The expectations for the future have adjusted downward. In 2025, the family expected improvement. Career advancement, home ownership success, comfortable retirement. These expectations are gone. The future looks like the present at best, probably worse. The teenager expects less than their parents did. No expectation of affording a house. No expectation of stable career. No expectation of comfortable retirement. The decline is accepted as inevitable. The adjustment happens before the decline even occurs. Identity has shifted from aspiration to endurance. In 2025, people define themselves by what they were building toward. Career goals, life dreams. In 2030, identity is defined by persistence. I'm surviving. I'm making it work. The shift from growth to maintenance. Anger has largely dissipated. The rage at the financial system, at wealthy elites, at politicians who failed, all of this was intense in 2026, 2028. By 2030, it's exhaustion, too tired to be angry. Anger requires energy. Just getting through the day requires all available energy. There's shame at needing the teenager to work, at living in a house that needs repairs, at not providing the life expected. This shame is usually unspoken, but it affects self-worth. The sense of failure, despite working constantly. Comparison with the past creates pain. Remembering dinners out, vacations, leisure time. The contrast between then and now is stark. Many people avoid thinking about 2025. The comparison is too painful. Accepting present reality requires forgetting past reality. Hope is carefully managed. Too much hope creates disappointment. Too little creates despair. The equilibrium is cautious optimism about small things. Maybe saving enough for a weekend trip next year. Maybe one car will last another 3 years. Hope scaled down to manageable size. Gratitude is cultivated consciously. We have jobs. We have a home. We're healthy. Focusing on what remains rather than what was lost. This gratitude is psychologically necessary. Without it, the reality is unbearable. Community with others in similar situations provides validation. Everyone is struggling. This shared experience normalizes the hardship. The isolation would be crushing. Knowing everyone else faces similar constraints makes it tolerable. The psychological adjustment is complete when reduced circumstances feel normal rather than abnormal. When this is just how life is, not a temporary situation. When the memory of 2025 feels like a different life entirely. This psychological adaptation is the final element of the new normal. The new normal is stable, not because it's satisfying, but because it's sustainable and alternatives are unavailable. The system has reached an equilibrium that persists. Economically, the numbers work. Income covers expenses with small buffer. No one is getting ahead. But no one is falling behind catastrophically either. As long as employment continues, the balance holds. It's tight, but it's stable. Socially, people have adjusted, expectations have recalibrated. The psychological adaptation is complete. What would have felt like hardship in 2025 feels normal in 2030. When everyone's circumstances declined together, relative positions stayed constant. No one feels uniquely deprived. Politically, the system provides enough stability to prevent revolution. People are working, eating, housed. The safety net that exists prevents absolute destitution. People are tired, not desperate. Tired people adapt, desperate people revolt. The system keeps people tired. Technologically, the infrastructure still works. Cars. The technology that makes modern life function persists. If technology failed, the system would collapse, but it doesn't. The technological base sustains the social structure. Demographically, this is the new equilibrium. Aging populations require this level of work to support retirees. There are no extra resources for improvement. The worker-to-retiree ratio dictates this living standard. Unless demographics change, this is permanent. Internationally, every country faces similar constraints. There's no external model to aspire to. Europe is worse, Asia is worse. Even the wealthy classes globally have scaled back. This is the global new normal, not unique to one country. The stability is equilibrium of exhaustion. Not satisfaction, not prosperity, but sustainable hardship. People work constantly, manage tightly. Expect little and persist. This is the new normal. It's stable, it's permanent, and it's just how life works now.